They must be full up.
Yeah. So the accident made it happen.
Well, it was an accident?
All right, this is call to order. This is the Brimfield Township Zoning Commission meeting for Thursday, February 9th, 2013. Please go ahead and do a roll call.
Tom Johnson.
Present.
Debbie Darlis.
Here.
Tom Sargent.
Here.
Patrick Blair.
Here.
Seth Palin. Colette Wolosnick.
Here.
Bill Anderson.
Here.
Colette, you will be a voting member tonight.
All right, and we'll go ahead and accept the agenda and take a minute to review it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
And moving right along, approval of the minutes. I believe that would be the minutes from the January meeting.
In those minutes, did we set up a vice chair?
Yes, we did, and that was Debbie. No, I didn't see that activity added to the minutes of that.
I'm sorry.
The vice chair for the last minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you made
Yeah,
it.
so you'll need to revise that. See how Tom's driving with one headlight. We'd miss if we did not have somebody appointed as the vice chair.
I'll fix that out in the parking lot.
We could revise it for back to next.
Okay, very good. All right, moving right on to the work session, we have a variety of topics that we're going to take a look at this evening. And Mike, I'll let you go ahead and start off with the discussion on the park and rec, specified zoning district, Brimfield Park Land.
Yeah, so we talked about this last time, we talked about getting a specific, now that the OR district is out of the code. We'd like to replace that district, color coded on the map with all of the parks so that, it's pretty simple to see how much parkland we have. And I'd like to see even have, acreage on that too listed below, where we're at. You see in the IC district behind poles, it's still zoned integrated commercial. I just like to take everything that's a park, designate it, and then create an actual language in there so that these parks are there professionally. And then give that, if we could get a motion on that to send that to regional planning for map update and language.
Yeah, do we have any other parks in the county that are designated by the Rome zoning district? Any other townships?
I think Portage County parks are listed.
I mean, Portage County as a whole,
Yeah,
but in a township, is there any parks designated that way?
not that to my knowledge. I think everything's in Kent. That's Portage County Park.
Well, I always like being first, so I'd like to make a motion that we designate the Brimfield Park districts in their own zoning district.
Yeah.
I think there's some grant opportunities when we're able to talk effectively about that through the various agencies and so forth. So, again, I'll make a motion that we designate park districts in Portage County as their own zoning district.
We need a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
And that's gonna be all the OCs on here?
So open space conservation is gonna be different. This is just gonna be strictly parkland.
What-
Because open space conservation, you can still build a house in it and things like that. So we're looking at,
So, we're
protecting just the parks that we own.
It will develop.
Oh, so they're not designated on here yet? Okay,
So
gotcha.
we'll develop the language for it designated, and
Okay.
then we'll go through, review,
Come back to you
and
guys.
come back here, we'll look at it, and we'll send it to the trustees.
Right. Have public hearings on it. Just get the ball rolling, and I appreciate that.
All right, the next issue is the town center master plan.
We have Mike Wallen here, who we contracted to look into this. for lighting purposes, sidewalk purposes, and whatever this board feels would be necessary. That I did not bring the old township master plan that's sitting on my wall. Mike and I looked at it the other day. None of it came to fruition for what we wanted, what they wanted back then. And, you know, we've talked about this at the board here. We've got to do something with the town center to connect and be able to walk all the way throughout the whole town center. That's my idea, to have sidewalks everywhere. If it's zoned town center, it should have a sidewalk, and it should have the same uniform street lights throughout. I don't know if that's what the board feels, but Mike's here to get direction, so he could get you some sketches.
Well, sir, I think that part of that's a safety issue as well. I know that in the winter time, when the snow's on the ground, people are walking in the streets.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we have had at least one death I know of downtown from improper sidewalk designations here a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So what's it gonna take to get it done? Let's get it started.
And we'd like to, you know, we're gonna try to use our 2 tips. I've got Mark and Eddie working on tips to move money for this. If it's not enough, and I'm hoping it's enough, but if it's not enough, Mike and I will meet with AMS and then we'll look at some funding possibilities for safe walks, for schools, something, you know, where we can try to get some money for it as well. The lighting would probably be on us.
I heard they just got a whole bunch of money.
The county?
AMAX.
Oh, AMS does have a whole bunch.
I mean, a lot of money.
Yes, we do have a lot, yeah. I sit on the policy committee for Sabrina as a backup, so that was my plan, is to try to
Yeah, I've read through
get
your
in there and get it scored. And it's gonna score high because we have a school, kids want the school too. so.
Exactly, yeah, I've looked at their proposals they have for, like the, 59 corridor in Kent and the 44 corridor in Ravenna, where there are no streets, and I think we're as, desperate as those people are. We just gotta get the thing quantified into EMAS, they massage it. And is that part of your responsibility to prep this for AMATs as well as the town center?
Yeah, the scope is vague at this point, so I'm here tonight just to kind of hear what the board is looking for. But step one is put some sketches together so we can all kind of agree on scope and which areas we're talking about. From there, we start talking to the county and to start bringing all our stakeholders together. And
Will you be doing a stakeholder survey?
if that's what the commission wants, yeah.
Well, being a project manager myself, if we can get stakeholder buy-in or visibility, I think that should be somewhat budgeted for in the town center process.
We're gonna be bringing our money to the table will be TIF money. So the apartments that go behind the Brimfield Elementary, there's a TIF now. That TIF is gonna go to town center east and west. So the one by Wendy's and then the one behind the school, those 2 streets will be funded. In fact, the one will be completely repaved with the TIF. And then we're gonna take the Maple Crest TIF on the second one, where Hammer Manufacturing, Mark Mill's coming. And we're moving that to the town center to help pay for the lights. And,
Yeah, I just want to make sure we have proper
But
communication and scope planning. Because what I fear happening is people say, boy, they spent a lot of money on sidewalks, we never had before, what do we need those for? It'd be a lot of negativity unless we communicate correctly. And defining the stakeholders is gonna be another issue, but I think part of that communication plan needs to be incorporated in the monies that we're spending.
our first step is to get the scope. So like, what do you guys want to see? And then he can piece together where the sidewalks are. And then try to come back to you guys and then get a budget together and then know what we're talking about, and what we need.
Okay, so there could be some property usage issues and things like that.
In this plan, we're not looking at any easements or assessments at all from the property owners.
We don't.
No, yeah, so all the sidewalks are gonna be the right way.
Okay.
Well, that's the right one. Some of those right of ways are tight, so that'll be step one, is a concept.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, so what's the setback on the sidewalk generally from the curb?
It varies. You look at Talmadge, they have, I don't know, 2 or 3 foot band of brick and then a sidewalk. Other cities push it back, have a 5 or 6 or 8 foot tree lawn there. So there's all kinds of different options we have. I think when ODOT widened 43, they didn't take a lot of extra right of way. There's not a lot of extra room there. So unfortunately, I think we're gonna be pretty tight to the road. And then we're just gonna have to look at where some of these conflicts are with utility poles, with structures. It's not gonna be a typical straight look as what Talmadge is going up like North Avenue.
Well, an example of that is down in front of Hometown Bank, when that property was rehabbed, they put a sidewalk in, and there was a telephone pole in the middle, so they just did a loop around the telephone pole.
Right, yeah.
So don't walk in it, no, but.
Well, in front of your office building now, it's the same thing. There's a retaining wall real close to the road. The cemetery's real close to the road, so there may be some areas where we can't physically fit one on both sides. So that's kind of step one, is to put some mapping together and get everybody on the same
Identify
page.
those things. And
Yeah. Identify the problem areas, and then we can talk about solutions from there.
then ask Uncle Amath for some money.
Do you want to talk scope area, like?
I would say, yeah, are you guys looking at, and you guys have it back in front of you, everywhere that it's showing, my suggestion is everywhere that is zoned at the town center is what I would
That
like
would
to see.
be north of, or south of Brimfield Drive, going south through Talmadge Avenue. Then we also go all the way down to 18.
I think you gotta go up to Howe Road. Even though it's designated as a commercial.
All the way up to how?
And that makes sense, because if you look at it from the east side, we're deeper, closer toward Brimfield Drive than we are on the west side.
And you got 4 bus stops for public
Okay,
transportation.
am I messing something up? I thought town center went up to the expressway.
It does. You ask for scope, I'm saying push it on up to Howe Road.
I think one of the, if you look at, there are several car lots.
I think you can
on the
achieve
west
that
side
as you develop it,
That maybe.
then just make it mandatory under development, to
But we
put in
could
the
review that.
sidewalks and the lighting.
And see what information you find.
You know, as it
setbacks
develops.
there. Because they could have encroached into the right of way as well.
I don't remember how much right of way take they took as you move farther north. All those ODOT plans are available, so it's just a matter of starting to pull all that together. And put some context.
What about consideration for, if we are close to 43, constructing, barriers of some sort to separate the traffic to protect the pedestrians?
Like crosswalks, or you're talking more physical?
Physical barriers such as posts or something like that.
Well, anything in Route 43 paved areas is really going to default to ODOT, so we can make some suggestions.
Right, it would be in the
Right.
right of way.
Yeah, we're not going to drive those conversations a lot, but we can make some suggestions. What happens in Talmadge Road, though, we probably have a little bit more flexibility, because that's more county control. So that's something we can talk about. And we kind of talked about going east and west from New Redwood, all the way over to back to Brimfield Plaza. Does that seem reasonable? Does that seem too?
Yeah, I would go up to Chapman Drive,
Okay. All the way to Chapman.
all the way to Chapman. We have extended care facility there in Chapman. That area of Chapman Drive has, 200 homes with young families in it?
Around that, yeah.
And at least the Redwood, I think, is a good spot.
Yeah, on both sides. And then on the south side, I think you pick it up at Brimfield Road there, maybe? Or did you want to go all the way across the street?
Well, at least on the north side of 18, east of 44.
And then on the south side, you got Rainfield Road that starts there.
I'd pick it up as soon as you can. I don't know where the property lines, he's gonna have to research that.
Which area are we talking about? On the east?
On the south side
South
of
side of 18 by
18.
Rainfield Road.
east of 43,
Okay.
that could be a,
Check farms.
Yeah.
Farther than Rainfield.
yeah, it could be a problem area, but there's a lot of housing down Ramfield Road as well that might facilitate the people.
So she'd like to go down Rainfield also.
Well,
Yeah, but this covers it, doesn't it?
if we can get to Ramfield, I think we got a win going on there.
And then to the south of 76, we're looking at the trailer parks around to the right of it. Where that's at on the south side.
I kind of thought about the bread oven, seemed like having a nice
Yeah,
delineation between more.
That's a good
residential.
spot.
That's a good spot.
Everything south of that is residential. So.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the north where you're talking about going, that's like double the space.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the town center also is gonna have, we passed that historical district, and a lot of the homes are gonna have, the plaques along with the online storytelling. So, people can actually walk the historic tour as well. I think that'd be kind of neat, Nice suggestion.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have more easement going, more right of way going north of 76. Should be easier for them to put sidewalks in. Maybe we don't do the lighting north of 76, but the sidewalks would definitely. There's a lot of people that walk that road.
There is, yeah.
I'm thinking safety first, lighting second.
What is that zone north?
Well, I guess what I'm thinking is, I can see the
76.
justification
Highway
for
commercial.
sidewalks.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what I'm asking is, do you then make that
Do you
area
want this?
follow the town center criteria for businesses, anything that's built there?
Doesn't sound like it'd work.
I think we need to find out where our easements are and then put together what we see as a scope of area. But yeah, we may have to do something up there. Again, I'm thinking safety.
No, the sidewalk, I absolutely agree with you. What I'm saying is, so when you encompass that area, what we're talking about in town center criteria, that there's a design criteria for buildings and things that are built. Then would that follow that once you get north of the expressway of 76?
What, making them build the town center spec?
Yeah,
I don't think you have to do that.
well, that's what I'm asking.
I don't think you have to do that if we're talking about sidewalks. We could just take a look at the zoning up in there and make it a zoning rule, but if we put the sidewalks in, I don't see Holiday Inn or the apartment complex that's up there or Apollo Heating and Air Conditioning gonna complain about having a sidewalk out front of the building, since there's 4 bus stops between 76.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Howard.
There is.
Oh, no, I'm not, I agree.
I didn't, well,
I'm
he used
more
to work
asking
for
the other
Parks, so yeah,
section,
that
you
makes
know.
sense.
I think that's a discussion further down the road. We can have that one later. That's based on a hypothesis that we're even doing anything. Let's get the scope
So-
of comforts first.
So then, I just want to follow up with the question is like, when you're walking across the entrance ramps and the exit ramps, how do those get treated?
Right.
Well, there's sidewalks across the bridge right now, and I see them walking every morning from the hotels.
Is there, so like, what is the rule there? The actual law for pedestrians walking across those?
Should have,
Crosswalks.
there should be a crosswalk.
Double red lights everywhere. Push button crosswalk.
We should have a push button right at the corner by Econo Lodge going across, and then we should have a push button right there.
There we go.
That's where the bulk of the money is gonna be spent, is in that traffic control, signalization type stuff.
Well, and that's where we gotta look for funding on that.
That's where you.
And we could always narrow and break it into phases, so, maybe we do a phase with traffic control, but then the actual town center behind Pizza Hut and all that, we hit right away with our money and then go for funding on the rest of it. However we work it, we need a plan to start. Yeah.
So on an exit ramp, I see that, okay, I can understand how it works. How do you do that in the entrance ramps?
Same,
It's all signalized.
yeah.
Be red lights.
I'm trying to think where I've driven through.
Yeah.
And seen that.
So there's lights all at 43, there's lights though.
Both of those intersections.
Yeah, both intersections have lights.
Just change the layout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on Redstone,
To
that's
coincide
how-
with your pedestrian walks, and that's it.
On 59, they have a red arrow that flashes, so you can't turn right.
Oh, that's good, that's good. That
It'd be
would
the
be-
same
The-
type of
The
thing.
nice thing is there is a lot of funding because of safety. So there's a ton of safety money out there. So that if we tie it in with this aspect, we probably will get more funding. So, and you know what, we might get PARTA to help us out. Because if PARTA's picking up down there, we can ask them to kick in.
I don't think they'll kick in anything.
No, but we'll put them on the table.
Yeah, that's for it. Give you a free bus ride.
That's right.
I think they'll be expanding service if we had
Yeah, I think so too.
better, it's time.
Okay,
Especially with more apartments coming to that area.
Right.
makes sense,
More pedestrian traffic around
makes sense. Do you have a good enough idea then?
there. Yeah, I think we'll start putting some just general scope plans together. I'm not gonna get out in front of anybody, so it's kind of baby steps.
Sure.
Some big picture planning, and then we can go back and talk about.
This
it
is
more.
gonna be, if we get this done this year, that'd be a great thing.
Yeah.
You could be out to,
It's getting everybody in this room on the same scope before we start engaging.
that all is get the ideas together, get a plan together, and then put it in front of AMETs and let it score. So we've got to get the score up, and that's where we're gonna have to do our tweaking. Whatever safety, we might have to add stuff just to get the safety score up, so.
We'll let Tom drive down the road.
One headlight.
Sorry, Tom.
Mike,
Is that a
any other questions before we close this portion of it?
So, happy working with you.
Okay.
Yep, we are
Thank you,
too.
Mike.
We'll probably have this topic on at every meeting for this year. And then Mike's gonna come and go as he's got stuff ready and then questions, and it'll be a work in progress all year, so.
Okay. All right, next issue we have is our code 600.04.02, parking lot requirements.
So this got approved last night at Regional Planning Commission, and it's back to you guys. The only comment, and it's not in writing here yet, from Regional, but they approved it, but they also said that the front parking requirement or the rear parking requirements would stay for the town center. We didn't ask for that. We said to get rid of it and allow for the front parking areas on every building throughout the community, but they changed it, approved it. And I said, well, I gotta take that back to zoning commission, because if you look in the town center as we are right now, from the building that we're renting out to, Meadows property, to just about every single property in the town center, there's parking in front of the building. So it creates a bunch of issues if I, have people come in and say, well, I'm sorry, it's parking in the rear only. I think we bounce it back to regional planning, let them vote on it again. And this is my suggestion, say, no, we want it uniform throughout the whole code, not specific to that. So, yeah, I don't know, it's up to you guys though.
Well, most of them won't be non-conforming. You're
Yes.
looking at Wendy's, you're looking at.
All of them.
McDonald's,
Yeah. they're all-
Oh,
the
Gun
plaza, the pizza
Yeah.
places.
yeah, pizza shop, gun shop, McDonald's, tire place,
That's
Wendy's.
not to mention the whole Dollar General and everything, everything's parked
It's
in
just
the front
all-
there, so. The clock tower building, yeah. Or Brimfield Bread Oven, it's all parking in the front.
So I don't think we need a lot of discussion, but we need a motion to send that back.
Yeah, send it back. and
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the parking lot requirement being,
I'll make that motion.
and a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and send that back to regional planning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Proposed change to GC zoning district from east of I-76 along Talmadge to highway commercial.
So So this is, looking at, if you look at 18 down there, we have an abandoned hot tub place. And on the other side, we have, which is nice, I mean, they just painted it and they just did, where the sheds were, they have another occupancy there. And it looks a little bit better with the gravel and the paint. But I'd like to take that and move that district to highway commercial. It's coming right off of the exits. It doesn't allow for gas stations right now. We've had proposals in the past from Sheetz and other gas stations that do want to come in and knock that whole building down and put in something nice. We have a developer that's pretty much ready to pull the trigger on that.
Which one is this one again? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So is your, so.
Right between Sunnybrook and Margaret, right next to here.
Yeah, so it's right here.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
All this GC coming in here, right along 76 on 18. Everything that's GC there, I'm proposing to change to highway commercial. And it's only because, look, the whole project is done now. We had AMET's funding for that whole project. They redid all the ramps. We didn't touch anything with the GC. But if you look at just that GC corridor there, it looks pretty bad. Then you start getting into our newer stuff. And I think we need to spark development in that area. And if we change the zoning, it's been here for 20 years and we have abandoned buildings sitting there, I think you're gonna see some stuff get built.
It's labeled GC on here if I'm reading this correctly.
Yes.
And I'd like to change it to highway commercial.
Highway commercial.
That would also be consistent with what we have at 43 and 76 as well at that.
Yeah, I don't know why it was never highway commercial because it's coming off the highway. So I'm not so sure why that was done.
Wasn't that because of the residents over in some of the area there?
I was gonna say, those houses right there,
They came to a meeting and complained, I thought,
Okay.
and didn't want it changed. But they probably do now,
it's
They're
the
all gone.
last,
Most of those houses got torn out.
right?
And I believe that the last name is Taylor. He called me.
well, it's the property that's right behind there, that's the driveway's off Myron Road.
Yeah, on the,
The one with the semi in the backyard, advertising the drain, Allen
Septic.
drain.
No, on the other side.
It's right behind the pool building.
No, the other, yeah, it's right behind what was Imogene's
Imogene's ice cream.
ice cream stand. That's a
The
vacant
hot
building.
tub place.
Right behind it is there's one or two houses right back there. You guys got a really nice team in there, sitting there that you can see
Okay,
from the
Isn't that
ramp.
property for sale though now? Isn't that property for sale?
all of it's for sale, I believe.
I don't think those houses are.
I don't know if the houses are behind, but I know the
Not
the
houses
ones
all
on
over
Lyman
Sunnybrook
Road.
are all for
You
sale.
don't? You mean as you're coming up on that ramp?
The ones that are on 18 between Sunnybrook and the ramp are for sale.
Okay,
But
right.
the ones right behind Imogene's, I don't believe those houses are for sale.
Well, I can tell you this, so if you look behind this in the LI district on Mogador, so if it's not in a highway commercial district, that means that the person you're talking about is in a light industrial district.
Mhm.
They might be happy because my next proposal, which is not on here now, and going with the comp plan, and when we discussed the comp plan, this whole LI district in here, we were gonna move back to residential. So he might be happy with that. So this,
Right here.
eventually, I'd like to take this all back to residential. That's where so you have a cemetery in there and you have all residential homes coming all throughout here.
Yeah, that's on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the house I'm talking about, is right at this property.
Yeah, I'd like to turn this all back to residential.
There is a few homes there on Sunnybrook.
Yeah.
Those are mostly owned by Joe Rapaski.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
They're
Well, you know,
all his kids, and
we
he's
Keep
asked,
buying them up as they
he's asked to change it back, yeah.
you can run up the flagpole and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have public meetings, and if people come, we're more than welcome. Listen
Well,
to
you know,
them.
if I could take my home and sell it to a contractor, he's got to tear it down, and I'm gonna make $10,000 on it, I think I'd be all for the change.
I mean, see what, yeah, you're not hurting anything, they're not zone residential now. So-
Right. It was own commercial, so.
So we need to take a motion for the reconsideration of that zoning district, send it over to the regional plan.
Yeah, we're gonna keep them busy this year.
Okay.
I'll be the bad boy, yes. Make a motion to change the GC zoning district on 18 east of I-76 to highway commercial.
All of the GC in that area on both sides, yeah.
On both sides, yeah. Yeah, might as well do both sides.
So is this motion to include the residential change to the light industrial residential?
I wouldn't do that yet, but if you guys want to make that motion.
Well, that would be a separate one here.
No, I'm not saying that, I'm just asking.
Not today?
Not today.
I would just ask if you let me do my due diligence and find out, make sure that's all
Yeah, I
residential
would
homes before I do that.
Okay. All right. Hearing a first, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll send that on to,
That would seem like it would benefit the property
It would
owners, because they can't even get a commercial loan on these right now,
Cannot.
or a conventional.
Correct.
all right. The proposed change of general commercial zoning district along State Route 14, integrated commercial.
43, instead of 14.
On 43.
I'm serious, we're gonna make all the wrong, we're changing that.
I would get rid of the heavy industrial.
Okay.
That would be great.
Well, we'll work on that.
So I believe we're looking at consideration of an IC district starting where State Route 43 exits the city of Kent and continuing south past, south on 43 past Howell Road.
So, yeah, so I'm getting a little bold here, but here's my thought pattern. This is my thought pattern. For over 20 years, we've been talking about how are we gonna bring water down 43. And as we go to these meetings, Kent argues and says, you know, Brimfield's gonna pay, and then Brimfield wants Kent to pay, and it goes back and forth, and then nothing gets done, another year goes by. Talked to the county, Sabrina was in the meeting, and they're spending $12 million on a water plant in Manaway and no economic development improvement. And I said, my first question is, well, wait a minute, you guys applied for loans and you got $6 million worth of grants for this water tower, but we never applied for water down State Route 43 where it would have improved and you would have got taxes back off. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna have a developer do it. My goal is that nobody else is gonna do it, let's get a developer to bring water. The idea, and I ran a pass with Mike. Mike was in the office the other day, and we have mutual friends that are developers that we've dealt with in the past, and we're like, wonder if we change this to integrated commercial, allow some high density housing mixed with retail use, like we talked about on Skip Group property, we've talked about it many years. Let's see if we could get it. And, you know, I don't know what some of the development, I know the one that I talked to is very interested. And I think you're gonna see properties start to move and water come down if this happens. So if we do the same thing, you know, continuously and hope for a change, I think that's insanity. So we might as well give it a shot. And we're not hurting anybody because it's staying commercial.
We would need to do something, and we'd need to coordinate that if we're gonna put sidewalks in coming down 43. I would not like to put sidewalks in and then a year later dig them up to put in water line.
Well,
So
The water lines
that's
is
the
really-
balancing act that we might have to juggle here, how quickly we can.
my opinion is if you're gonna leave it up to the developer to bring the water lines down, it's gonna be like you did for the nursing home. I did the nursing home up at the corner. The developer pays for that. It's gonna happen incrementally as each project goes. So to tie that to sidewalks, you're gonna end up with kind
It's
of
not
a
gonna happen.
patchwork.
Yeah, it's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
so you almost have to think about those as separate projects, I think. Because you're gonna end the water line down as you go, and you're gonna end up replacing and upgrading the sanitary as you go farther south. Think of it as starting at the Kent line and working down towards 43.
Right.
My bet is we're gonna be plugging Kent for water and Kent's gonna make money off of it,
Yes.
which we don't, you know, they have the full capacity. Their line is, as long as the county signs off on it, we'll keep bringing it from Kent and all the way up to
What's the
Howell.
cost on a water line per foot? About 170, is it about 200?
It's about tripled in the last 3 years.
That's triple.
In a road like that, if we're not building it under the road itself, we're behind the curb and the berm, You're probably talking $200 a foot, $250 a foot all in with hydrants and, restoration.
What about tap-in fees? That's some of the concerns that the citizens would have.
Did they charge a tap-in fee for Kent?
Absolutely.
$5,000.
There's a lot of arguments.
Was it as bad as what? No.
It wasn't as bad as Portage County, so, but the tap fees would go to City of Kent because it's their water line. Even though the developer puts the water line in, they still have to pay a tap fee to tap into that line, which is always an argument.
Well, and keep in mind, there's some tools in the economic development toolbox that we could use to help developers. So if we change the zoning and it sparks development and it sparks them coming here, I have enterprise zone, so I can offer.
I think he's referring to existing people that live in that.
Yeah,
Right.
because right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, most of them are well and
Right.
septic.
Yeah,
Correct.
All the way down to the old putt-putt golf place. I think that's as far as the sewer went. I lived on Howell Road at the time when that all went through. So I think the sewer's as far north as like the old putt-putt golf.
Okay.
Could we make
And
it
then
optional to
it goes
tap
up to
in?
the outpost.
I think state law requires tap-in for sewer from septic if you're, how many feet from that line and I don't know.
Only when you sell.
Technically, yes, but they don't enforce it until you sell.
Okay.
Or have an issue with your system fails.
I don't think anybody is gonna have an issue if water goes past their house there, because their property value is gonna
Right,
go up.
right. And what do you?
Why wouldn't
what's
you
the
want city
ballpark
water
of
instead of
tap-in
well?
fees from Kent, if you know?
It's all based on demand. So, a nursing home is 50,000. A residential home could be 2,000 or 3,000.
Okay.
So it's all based on the amount of fixtures you have in the house.
Yeah, but that nursing home's got a lot of water.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. And sewer fees were crazy too, because it's 100 beds, there's 100 restrooms in there. It's all based on the toilets.
yeah, the water's not the issue, it's if you had tap in sewer.
Right.
Because that was almost washing with a septic system. What residential people were getting charged.
And Portage County sewer system up in that area is on the, I don't want to speak out of turn, but on the pumps that they have in that pump station are operating right at their limit, so they need to upgrade those pumps. They need some more flow to do that. Adding the nursing home was kind of the max that we could do without them upgrading pumps and that sort of thing. So they need more development to be able to facilitate even more development.
And we'd like to piecemeal it. I mean, it's not gonna be like somebody's gonna go in the middle and all of a sudden build something and it's gonna be piecemealed together, the water line, as we go down the street. But, I just need one to spark it.
Well, we did have a discussion there at the corner of Old Forge and 43. The gentleman came in and said he had a private sewer system in or something.
Frank Arthur?
Yeah, something.
Oh, no, not Old Forge, that was how.
That was
On
how-
the-
So he goes along back to that used car lot into
Right.
Howell, yeah.
If in your research, if you could come across anything that's in the public domain in regards to that.
Say that again?
We had a gentleman that
Frank
arrived
Arthur.
and at the corner of Howell and 43 where the car lots are. And then on the north side, you have the lawnmower repair and
Right.
sales. On the south side of Howell, he stated that for the residents that are along Howell, there was a private sewer system tied into,
Oh, wait a minute, that's not what he said.
okay, what did he say?
He said for the house that he had that's facing 43, he ran a private line over to the Howell Road sewer system. That's what he said.
Oh, I thought he.
So he's got
Well,
150 foot of 4-inch pipe that he put in himself.
I thought it was 6, but yeah, it was
the word that's
it wasn't a private line,
line.
it was, the line was run over to the sewer.
And Tia's not letting you tie into that. No
So
more.
the gravity line, we're going back 15 years now. The gravity line starts like at the lawnmower tri-county place, goes west
Correct.
and north
Yes.
it jumps north and gets up around the putt golf course that way.
Mhm.
I don't think there's a gravity sewer line all the way up to 43 on that. I don't think. 'Cause I think the force main comes across and dumps it.
I think the thought was when we heard it, was like,
Right.
did you dig this and tap it?
Yeah.
But he was very, I mean, we asked him probably half a dozen times about it, and he was adamant that it's there.
Yeah.
Well, it's
if
not
in your
surprising
research you
that it
come
would be there, because he's
It was
right
more
there,
like
and
a
he lives
lateral.
there.
Didn't he have one?
And he's
like-
Going in
close
the
to
house.
where we did.
Sounds like it.
But it just sounds so unrealistic.
If you come
But then
across
back
any of
up
that,
that,
your
so-
research,
It's not that far.
we appreciate any feedback that you might come across on that, because we're somewhat skeptical that.
You find an old rusty pick, you let us know.
Yeah.
Is that house in the used car lot, is that on the parcel?
Yeah, the house is kind of part of the lot, it's kind of like their office
But
and their
but it
house.
would be behind.
It is definitely a non-conforming use.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, I think he brought a diagram in.
I thought,
I know.
I thought he did.
Well, see, that's just a minor flea on the project back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to there.
Yeah.
So going back to the houses that are existing up 43 right now, especially the ones on the
Right.
east side.
Okay. Concos,
Those would be,
all rentals,
or are they rentals all the way up there?
yeah. He owns 5 of them, I believe.
Those
Really?
those, yeah.
But the same guy, yeah.
Oh,
He'd like to develop a commercial. He comes in all the time. He'd love to that go commercial.
I guess I was just thinking like if there was a private owner there that was living there, you wouldn't want to see them.
No,
Dude.
yeah,
But they would benefit when they go to sell the property. Everybody knows that.
because now all of a sudden it's commercial and
Yeah.
you got water.
I think it's a good idea that we pursue it. I mean, I don't see any major roadblocks.
I think if we keep it the way it is, we're not gonna see anything. I
No,
think we need to change it. And it's not, I don't think there's gonna be anybody in that district that's gonna be upset because it's general commercial. And then all it is expanding that commercial to integrated commercial. So you can still do the same things that are in GC, just we're gonna add more uses.
So we'll need a motion to change from general commercial to integrated commercial, so we send it to regional planning.
Everything.
So do I have to word it, or can I just?
Anything that's
GC.
GC, everything on GC.
I'm sorry.
You can go ahead and make the motion, Tom.
I'll make the motion. That was outlining what Tom Johnson just said.
Okay.
We'll need a second.
The 43 North.
I'll second.
Okay.
Seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Then, we'll need a motion to Regional Planning Commission amending the zoning resolution of section 540.00 temporary use, 90-day calendar year.
So this is, so Mark Adetti gave you the potential amendment for the zoning resolution, and you've had it for a couple of weeks now, and hopefully everybody got a chance to read it. And the last time we met, this is, for our temporary food trucks, things like that. You guys wanted to see a 90-day. So what I'm looking for is a motion. We'll send Mark Adetti's letter over to regional planning and draft language for 90 days per calendar year for temporary uses.
Okay, any questions?
Nobody saw that.
no, I made the motion last time that we send it. I make the motion again. My mind has not changed.
Okay. Any second?
I'll second it.
All right. Hearing a second, go ahead and motion. All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
Hey, Mike, the guy that's there currently with the smoker, he still has till June to get out of there or something like that, though, right?
No,
So he's got an active permit now
Yeah.
for 6 months, and I believe it's good till April, something like that.
No, he's good till
I know.
summer.
Okay, he's good till summer.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think,
And then, so we can't enforce this until it becomes law, which this is gonna be another month or so before.
and then he would be eligible for 90 days, so.
A 90-day this
That
fall.
probably would be September, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this year he's pretty much there,
All
But
right.
that gives him time to get his plans together, get
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
And he's working on it. I see stuff, and you've seen stuff on Facebook and some other things.
Well, the thing about this motion is if he has to go longer, all he's gotta do is to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And most of them people eat there. I don't see it as a problem. But it gives us the authority to keep people from, setting up a permit.
Yeah, he was here. I mean,
Yeah, he was okay with it.
he knows the drill and.
Yeah.
He was okay with it.
I think it's fair.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
The discussion on section 201.03C, change to one copy of site drawings along with electronic submission sent to the zoning department. That's a new one that you must have just added.
Yes, and Lauren reminded me because I always forget to put this on the agenda. So as we have the iPads now for all the boards, we want to send everything electronically. Per our records retention, I have to have one set to hold on file for 5 years. So I'm gonna ask that everybody send, until I could get our record retention changed, I'd like, contractors and everybody to submit one drawing to me and then everything else electronically, and then all the board members will have it electronically, and then I'll keep the record set in the office. But 9 sets of paper, I get inundated and I'm just destroying trees. We're just ripping through it and throwing it out.
So you don't have a size D scanner to digitize?
No, we do not.
No.
Now we can motion to get one.
Make that motion to the fiscal
when
office.
but I'm telling you, so once a year I
I'd
have
rather have it here.
SE Blueprint comes in, takes
Put it on the
whatever I
screen.
have that is not scanned in, and they scan it in first, and it's not that expensive.
So
But
there's another way to do it.
there's another way.
Mhm.
But everybody that submits to me submits electronically now. We're like 99% everybody sends it through the computer, and then I look at it through here. I do my plan reviews off of it. We just keep the set, like he brought up a set today, that's gonna sit there just for a record retention only. And that's,
So right now, you're looking at section C, you're looking at 9 copies of site plan drawings drawn to scale in that section.
yes.
We'd like to add this.
No, we're gonna get rid of the 9, go to one copy, and then the rest electronically.
So we would be removing 9 copies of the site plan. We would be inserting then 1 copy of site drawing along with electronic submission.
Yes.
Okay. And that would also be drawn, we would stop at the comma, and then we would draw to scale no less than 100 feet to an inch.
Correct.
Okay. We wouldn't need to send that to
Regional planning for
regional
touchdown.
planning. Okay.
I told you, we're gonna keep them busy this year.
All right, so we'll need a motion to send that consideration to zoning, or to regional planning.
Yeah, I move that we, move to, send it to regional planning that we only have to do the 1 copy per section 201.03.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And then we'll be changing section 201.3.03C1, change to 1 copy of architectural plans along with electronic submission to zoning.
And that is for conditional uses. The other one was for
Okay.
permitted.
Okay.
And that falls in line with the first motion. So I have a motion to make an amendment to section 201.3.03C1.
What'd you say, Debbie?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, say it all.
I'll make that motion.
It's your turn.
I'll second the motion.
All right. All right, here we have motions. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, and then we're going to then move along to C2 of that same section, change 1 copy of site plans along with electronic submission to the zoning.
I make a motion for section 201.03.C2 to change 1 copy of site plans along with electronic submission to the zoning department.
Yeah.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Clearing that, we have to set a
Yes, we did.
public hearing.
Do you remember what the public
And then
hearing?
public hearing would be in reference to,
Why we had that on
I
there?
think we're gonna have to hold off, because that was supposed to be set for the
Oh,
parking
that's
lot
right.
requirements.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
had it on there, but in case you guys
All
want
right,
to send
that was
it
for the
back, we
parking
left it
lot.
on there.
And we just sent that on.
We sent it back to regional, so we're
So we
gonna,
won't
we'll
be
have to
able to
reset that another time. Yep.
All right, good of the order.
So good of the order, we did our year-end report, so she is going to send it electronically to the zoning commission and the BZA. Trustees already have it, it was a good year. Economic development wise, over the past few years, there's sections in here that you want to take a look at. Pat, you've probably seen it already.
Yes, I did.
We have a section for zoning commission accomplishments. So you
I
can see what
love
you-
the ending. I started crying, I had to get the. I can't wait until the second issue comes out. But yeah.
My picture's in here, so you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, it was well put together. It really quantifies the work that Mike has been doing over the years. Finally started to come together.
Well, and I put in here the recent growth. I took the numbers from the fiscal office. From 18, I can only go from 18 on because I started at 18. So we were at 7.9 million, and we ended last year at just under, I think $2,000 less than 12 million last year.
Wow.
So this year our budget's over 13. So we're growing. We're doing our job. So
Yeah, sure. Does anyone else want a hard copy?
Yeah, I think one.
Sure.
there's also pictures of before and after for our zoning. So we do zoning enforcement also. So you'll see a lot of them that we did send violation letters. We're tearing the houses down and then they renovated them, that was really good. One on how was a firehouse for 10 years. So you'll see all that.
What do you have, 13 in the queue now that you're working on?
There's 13 in court with us right now that we're working on, and 2 are coming down, but they're beyond fixing. One's on Brimfield Drive, one's on Mogador, and 261 is, I think it fell down 30 years ago, but we're gonna tear it
I think the
down.
point of this book that he's got here is this committee's a piece of that,
Yes,
the things that we do. And we still are within what the residents want under our land use plan.
correct.
So I think that's a key thing to keep in mind, especially when we start putting sidewalks in. A lot of them aren't gonna.
As the year progresses, and why I like to do this is the year progresses, like this meeting alone, look how many things that you just sent off to start for the year. And when we get these accomplished, they're anywhere from 1 month to 6 months, depending on how it goes at every level. But then at the end of the year, you kind of forget what you did. And then it's nice to piece it all back together and go, oh, wow, we accomplished a lot last year.
Yeah.
So if anybody ever says, what are the boards doing? My God, there's 20 items there we did last year, so.
Well, that's just part of it too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just going through the book and we're finding zoning laws.
Yeah, we're tweaking everything, and it shows when you drive down the street, when you get up in Maple, it shows. So,
Yeah, the traffic. No.
yeah,
Slow down.
that's true. Thank you.
All right, any other information for good of the order? Hearing none, we'll move on to set a date for the next meeting,
So what is that, Tom?
March 9th at 7 PM.
This board never takes a break, huh?
And take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Pat?
No, let's call that turn.
Oh, I'm motion that we adjourn.
Second? You just get a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Wait a
opposed?
minute, I motion we adjourn.
Thank you.
Two.
Yeah.
Is that the iPad?